Yeah.
And
Shit, how is it?
the concept.
Yeah, we could call it like that. And pet peeves.
Okay.
Let's go.
What's that noise?
Oh, the scale.
No sé. I think that a machine. The other day, Bernard told me about that.
No, la báscula, ¿no?
See.
Ah,
Did you get it? Yeah. Let's get our intro.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. You have coffee this time, unlike the first time.
Yeah. It's a bit later now in the day.
It is.
So, yeah.
So
I'm trying to make it last. I also had a flat white like 2 hours ago. So
You've had one. You're a little bit caffeinated today. I have to say today I'm running mostly on matcha. Just finished a matcha workshop. So
people think that matcha doesn't carry any load, but damn, after 3 or 4 matchas, you're really shaky.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see now. So you had your flat white today?
I had my flat white, my oat flat white. Oh, I also had a cow iced latte in the morning. So yeah, it's been a varied day. And right now we haven't told what we're having, but it's Honduras V60.
A V60 Honduras.
Yeah, it's a honey.
Oof.
So,
what's a honey wash for those who maybe don't know?
Oh, I'll let you take that one.
Okay, I'm gonna take that one. Well, so basically, how the beans are taken out of the cherry is really important for the coffee, right? There's a couple of different methods, but if we look at it from a spectrum, there's like washed and there's natural. The natural is when they leave the cherry of the bean totally intact, and they're usually putting them on these kind of big beds out in the sun for about 3 weeks or so. They get to dry that way. And then we have washed, and it's basically the exact opposite, where they take away everything from the fruit, and you're just left with the bean very clean. And then obviously it goes in to be roasted. So the honey is when they leave a little bit of the fruit intact. They're taking off the outer skin, and then you have the thing called the mucilage, and it's like kind of the stickiness.
The white part of that's in between the grain and the outer part of the cherry, right?
Right, exactly. And when you let that bit ferment on its own, it's kind of creating unique flavor profiles. And they can come out really fruity. They can come out really sweet. So that's what we're having today. There's also, we just got some bags of anaerobic fermentation. And it's kind of like the honey, where they leave a little bit of the fruit on. But actually they're putting them into big tanks and then sucking out all the air and sealing them. And they're probably leaving them for like between 24 hours, 48 hours. And that's adding on like a whole different flavor profile. And it's funny because every time someone asks me, they're like, oh, like, what's your favorite origin? What's your favorite, like, bean? When there's this many processing methods, I'm like, oh, I can't decide. And also the bean, where it came from, and the varietal is also an interesting.
You cannot just say, like, no, I love Colombia.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like, you can have a farm that's 500 meters away and does completely different types of plants, completely different types of processes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pesticides, no pesticides they're using. But we've gone over this with our students in our escuelita, what we like to call our trainings.
Our little school.
Yeah, for the cafeteria. And we were mentioning that even though farms may be really nearby, like even if you have different cattle on the fields that you're growing your coffee, it's gonna come out completely different because like it enriches the soil, gives a lot of minerals, and it's crazy that you can go ahead and be like, no, yeah, Colombia goes really well with milk. Yeah. Or Brazil is amazing with oat milk. So that's just crazy to me.
Brazil is huge.
It's so big, and there's so many different altitudes and climates, and I mean, like,
I'm also imagining the border, right, between like 2 countries. So maybe what's beside Ecuador? Jeez, my geography is terrible.
What are you?
What country is beside Ecuador?
In what, like north, south?
Either one.
Where you have
what touches
on the right, you have Peru.
Okay, so Peru also is growing coffee.
Yeah, definitely.
And so if the border, like, you know, on a certain mountain range, because a lot of farms are on the mountains, nice high altitudes, really good for developing the beans. You know, they could literally be coming from the same area. And then you're saying like, oh, well, I never drink Peruvian coffee. And it's like, it could have come from.
Yeah, it's like, you're just talking about an imaginary line that's maybe 20 kilometers in the distance. So, yeah, I mean, You cannot go ahead and just say, I only like a Ethiopia V60 because it's more fruity.
Yeah.
Like,
having said that,
yeah,
I do tend to like bourbon as a varietal.
mm-hmm.
So like wine has different types of grapes.
Yeah.
In terms of like there's the Chardonnay, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And also in coffee, there's bourbon, there's Geshe, there's da la la la. So I really like bourbons. Typically, they're a little bit more fruity for me.
Mm.
I like a fruity coffee. I like a filter coffee to taste like juice.
It is true. Of course, it depends, and everyone has their own coffee notion in this sense. I would say that like if I'm drinking a coffee with milk, I like it to be a little more chocolatey, maybe a little bit of notes of honey or something related to that, you know? So yeah, in the same line, drinking a filtered coffee that usually goes with a crazy, a little funkier varietal, it actually like just feels, you're drinking two different things, you know? It feels like it's, at least for me, it's crazy to think that you're drinking like the same type of plant in a sense when you're drinking like, I don't know, a double espresso or a filter, a V60 coffee, you know? Or
of the same bean?
Yeah.
And just the brew method
it's
makes it
crazy.
different.
It's crazy.
So, of course, the flavor is important. And this coffee that we're drinking now, it's a V60, so it's filtered through the paper. So we would say that's percolation, where the water is going through a bed of coffee and then accumulating at the bottom in a separate jug. And so we do V60 here. And I just wanted to say that, of course, taste is a huge thing about coffee, right? And we can really be honest to what the bean is trying to tell us with a method like V60. It highlights really delicate moments of the coffee, and it's not giving crazy like body that an espresso machine would do. Like if you have an espresso, there's so much carbon dioxide that's getting released as you're drinking the coffee, right? It's pumped in there because of the pressure that comes from the coffee machine. But the V60, it's really much more subtle, more delicate, and it's highlighting the coffee as if it was a tea.
Yeah.
But now, I'm going to throw this out there, that apart from the taste, there's other things we can look for in the cup. I'm drinking this and I'm like, what about the body? Is it heavy? Is it super light? Is it some sort of a medium? Is it like super syrupy or more watery? I think it's quite light.
It feels like you're drinking tea, or like I would even go ahead and say like I feel like I'm drinking an iced tea that would go amazing with like ice. You know? Like,
this ice.
It's a very summery drink.
Yeah, and it's pretty warm today. Huh?
Yeah.
I arrived. Producer Nicole didn't even hug me. She was like, "You're so sweaty," and she was like, "Don't even touch me." And I understand. So now I've definitely seen, even in the cafe, everyone's ordering iced drinks. I was we went through so many bags of ice.
Ice is also like a very important factor when you're talking about. We were talking about last episode about the consistency of water and all the consistencies that you need to maintain. I would say a base in your quality. You know. So I think that's a factor that a lot of people leave out, and they're like, "Oh no, I'm just making ice cubes with my faucet water," and just like,
damn, I've never even thought about that.
But if you think about it, it's water that you're putting in the coffee. You're diluting water as well.
Yeah.
So it's, in quality terms, you're affecting your coffee, and there's a customer that comes regularly and asks for iced drinks. They're going to have a variety of quality
based on the ice. Yeah, I mean, definitely would have said like, because iced things, or rather really cold things, we aren't tasting as well. And what I'm trying to say is here that our taste buds are hardwired to taste the best at things that are body temperature. So it's matching the taste bud temperature. And a lot of people, you notice this when they come to white wine, is that they want that cold.
Yeah.
And I honestly am the same. Like, you taste it a little bit less. You know, beer, for example, the colder the beer is, nice, right? Maybe it's just me. That's my beer notion.
No, but I mean, like, it's true that when I drink white wine that's really cold, it at first it tastes like I'm drinking like a fridge, you know.
Okay.
I don't know if it has happened to you before. It feels like you're drinking like a container that tastes like
fridge.
The
flavor of fridge.
Fridge flavor. Yeah. But what I was saying is like, you could influence a lot of things, like at what temperature you're serving your drinks, but also, I mean, like, how do you measure that? Because if you're doing a warm drink, but the customer takes a while to drink it, it's going to be their perception that's affected. And they may feel like, oh no, my coffee right now is really cold. I don't like cold coffee, you know?
Yes, I'm glad you said that, because so many people have these pet peeves that I've been, starting this conversation now. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have saw that I put up on my story. What are your pet peeves?
Oof, there's a couple pet peeves that I may have when ordering coffee, but also while making it.
Yes, I have some about making it. I'll let you go first. Give me one.
For me, a very big pet peeve is when I have when I have a rush and I have to make a lot of coffees, and the machine uses pressure, and like the steam one is making sounds, but it's not warming up the milk. Oh my god, that's like, it warms up the milk, but it doesn't shoot a lot of air because there isn't enough pressure. So you get like a watery milk, and it's awful for me.
Ooh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, how about you?
Okay, my pet peeve as a barista, when someone's ordering, when people say, I want an espresso largo, like a long espresso. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't think you know what you're ordering, is where my head goes, okay? And maybe I'm just, being grumpy and not asking enough questions from the customer. They're like, I want an espresso largo, and I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm thinking, does that mean you want me to put more water through the bed of coffee? You want me to mess around with my espresso recipe that I spent all morning trying to dial in?
I'm shaking because of the dialing in.
Right?
And right now you're asking me to throw that out the window.
Yeah, just for you, and without changing the grind. Or are they asking me just to put hot water on top of their espresso?
Yeah, I'm gonna compliment this with people that ask for a short espresso, and they're like, I want.
Actually, yeah, you're right. That's so much worse.
Oh my god, it's like, no, I want a piccolo espresso or a ristretto. Ristretto. I've got a lot of, and no hate to any nationality, but like a lot of Italian customers I've had, they're like, no, I want a ristretto. It's like, okay, so for me to make a good ristretto, I'd have to change my grind size, and that's gonna take a while. So if you want to wait like 5 to 10 minutes, I'll do a good ristretto for you because it's your order, you're paying for it, and you want it done properly. Okay, but they're like, no, just press the button before. I'm like,
no, so then you're gonna get this super acidic, very sharp espresso with none of the like after flavor that's balancing the whole cup.
And again, I'm shaking because of nothing. Then
you're shaking because you've had so much coffee in the morning.
Yeah,
to taste the coffee every time.
Yeah. Don't mess with the barista's recipe. You can ask for things, but don't mess with the barista recipe.
Yeah, be a bit more forgiving. But yeah, so we got on this topic because hot milk, like too hot milk.
Oh,
and I said this in this last episode. I've gotten really hot coffees.
Yeah,
but then also too cold milk. It's a something that needs to be kind of right. And I saw you today as you were making the V60.
Yeah,
you whipped out the thermometer.
Yeah, of course.
Like, good job.
I mean, we're a little vintage here, so while most people play games with their scales and heat up the coffee with their own like goose pots and everything, we do it very vintage here. We warm up the water. We make sure it's at 92. And then we go ahead into the RP60. So,
amazing. Yeah. So I think let's, start this movement of people buying thermometers for the milk. Okay? I want that milk 65 degrees, not a degree more, not a degree less.
Yes, sir.
That's where I'm at. But now, other people have responded on the pet peeves, right?
Oh, what have they said?
And one American guy he sent in, he was like, I know how it is in Barcelona, but no tipping. People who don't tip. So obviously in America, it's a different story. I think they're paid less when you're working in the service industry, and tipping is seen as mandatory in a sense.
Yeah, I'd say a good practice in between columns.
And here, a lot of people tipping you.
No, not so much.
No, not so much.
Maybe our service.
No,
is crap.
actually, I get a fair. Well, yeah, right. Like maybe the service would be better.
Could be.
If there is some tips. Now, I know that some people do tip. I'm going to be nice to you because I'm a nice person. Why don't you be nice? Because, that's how it all works. Love makes the world go around.
Definitely. I'm going to throw another pet peeve before we leave the topic of milk. But have you ever asked for a coffee and got like really watered down coffee because the milk isn't like froth enough, like it's not emulsified enough,
Okay.
so that there's not enough. Last episode we went over the cappuccino dilemma,
Which can I say? I left something out that I didn't say on the last episode.
You can go ahead.
So because there's more foam in a cappuccino.
Yeah.
But we said it has, at least where we work, it has the same amount of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
The milk and the coffee that are mixing aren't really mixing with the foam, right? The foam is kind of staying on the top.
Okay.
So a cappuccino will be a slight bit stronger, taste-wise.
Good point. Though, if you're drinking the foam first, which is a little sweeter, could that influence your flavor
Later on.
Yeah, could be.
Definitely sweetness. It's like adding a sweet thing will curb the acidity of the coffee. So
I think that solves the dilemma between a latte or a café con leche and a cappuccino, which is the taste is going to be different because it's not mixed enough with the milk as if it was a café con leche or a latte.
Yeah. So there is a difference in terms of flavor.
Yeah.
As well.
Solved. That's it.
Yeah, I've been asking everyone now. I've been like, what is a cappuccino? But anyways,
okay.
back.
Getting back to the milk. Have you ever had a coffee like
it's watery?
It's watery, and it feels like milk wasn't emulsified enough. I'd say emulsified is the right term, right?
Can you describe it for me more? Emulsified?
You're not steaming enough the milk. You're not adding enough air.
Yeah. So that you're getting a latte with like no foam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's completely like flat.
Yeah.
It changes a lot the flavor. It changes a lot the texture that you're drinking. Most likely, I mean, oh my God. And the worst thing that could happen is like having really hot coffee that has no foam. Oh my God.
Gosh.
I'm going to throw in a question and then you can go ahead and finish with the pet peeves. But iced latte, foam milk or not foam milk?
So people are foaming the milk first, making it hot, and then throwing it over ice versus just straight pouring the milk from the jug, right?
Yeah.
And then the espresso on top of that. It's a good question. I would say when you steam the milk first and make the foam and put that over ice and then add the espresso, that's an iced cappuccino.
But what if you don't steam enough the milk to make it like frothy?
But you're making foam by steaming it.
But not so much. Imagine that
But then the iced latte shouldn't have foam. Whoa,
no.
Ciao.
That's your take.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Oof, controversial.
You?
I like the texture of foam within the ice, like mixing, and also having like the coffee underneath, So, yeah, I don't know. I'd say I'd steam it, but I've been to a couple of places that what they do is like they just grab the remainder of milk that they have in the pitcher, and they throw it like on top.
Okay.
So every time you're drinking a coffee, and in the same topic of consistency, every time you're drinking a coffee, a nice latte is gonna have different amounts of foam milk.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can you imagine how long it's been left sitting there?
Oof, no.
So I want to end this on my pet peeves talk.
Yeah.
Coffee, especially espresso, that's been brewed and then it's left sitting, usually for the waiter to bring it to the table. And it's been left sitting there for too long. I've said this to you before, right? But I think an espresso shot, it needs to be mixed with the milk in 30 seconds. And the same with drinking it. You need to drink it within 30 seconds. You can totally see, like, it looks so sad. And milk is the same. Oat milk is arguably so much worse. It loses the bubbles really quick and it turns coffee super disgusting. And no, not a fan. If you leave it there for too long, if it's just left sitting there and you're like, and you'll be sitting at your table, you're looking at your coffee and it's like, dang. Baristas, that happens a lot, right? You make a coffee and you think, oh, it's great, I'm going to have my morning coffee, and then a big rush comes in.
Oh my
God. Your coffee is left over there.
Yeah, that's one of my pet peeves too.
2 hours later.
To go like turn around and see your coffee that's already like lost there, like already cold. No. And you can't like you don't want to throw it away, So your first coffee, you probably made like it's your first pour of the day. You're feeling really nice.
If it's been sitting there too long, and I've done this to my staff, like co-workers, if I see their coffee sitting there too long, I just throw it out for them. They're probably drinking it still, but I'm like, stop. I'll make you a new one. It's fine. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's better.
So another topic that we want to bring up today, is location.
Okay, so this topic came up Rob and I were talking because I sent him an article about opening up your own bar. So there was like tips about how to open your bar. It wasn't related to specialty coffee, but it arose some questions. And one of it was, how do you like choose the right location for a bar? We're saying, and I understand that here in this case it's important that you place a bar or you open a bar in a place that has like a lot of movement, but there's also like adjacent businesses that help you, like also like other bars, discos. You're opening maybe in a part of town that has like a lot of movement or a lot of nightlife. But in specialty coffee, how important is location? What would you say?
Okay, it's access is important. Someone told me this story before that their coffee shop was located right outside a bus stop that came from it came from Dublin city centre, right? So you got here from, and they were outside of Dublin, right? So it was like the only bus that went to Dublin city, right? And come back.
Yeah.
And what happened was actually many people who did lots of drugs coming back from Dublin would come and they would go to the bathroom and do drugs.
Oh my God.
And this led to some hairy situations, right? So ever since that, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to open a coffee shop near
a bus stop that connects the city center.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, something to think about. But rather than like location geographically.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, you want some footfall, you want people to be able to see your business. But then there's an argument of like, you could be a hidden gem. People need to kind of find you, especially if it's specialty coffee, like it's something that you need to seek out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, your customers are people that usually search for these types of businesses and don't care where they are located. Sometimes, I mean, there's people for everything, but in the case of specialty coffee, I believe that there's more people that seek out where they're going. I've been to places that are really far away from what you'd call a convenient place for a cafeteria. I don't know if you've ever been to San Feliu de Guixols. It's a Spanish coastal town in the Costa Brava.
Okay.
And there's a specialty coffee there, Ana Café, Ana with 3 N's, really good, amazing place, really good banana bread. They're serving 3 miles coffee, which they work really well. And it's in the middle of a coastal town that has nothing related to specialty coffee. It's the only specialty coffee place.
Yeah.
And it's always full.
Well, if it's the only place, yeah, I would expect so.
I mean, yes, but the thing is, it's not a conventional place where you find a specialty coffee. There's usually like bars that are really family oriented or are really old in the sense that they're really classic Catalan. It's not a place you'd expect to find a specialty coffee.
Yeah.
Then again, it's still full, and it's full of people that come from all around the Costa Brava to have a coffee, or people that are biking around the Costa Brava. They're like, I want to make a bike stop. And mind you, going down San Feliu de Guixols and then going back up again, it's a bit tough. So you're saying that people are going out of their way to find this place.
That's where you want them.
Yeah, that's the type of customers you want to attract. But then again, there's a lot of people that I've talked to that they're like, okay, I'm not going to open a specialty coffee place unless it's in a really crowded street that I can have a lot of movement. So for you, if you were opening your own place, how important would location be?
Okay, I think it needs to be a place that's, not in the direct city center. Just a little bit out, but not in like the middle of nowhere either. It's really hard. I want somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Somewhere that's accessible because I don't drive. I'm not going through my early midlife crisis like you. I'm going to have a bike and I'm going cycling every other weekend, okay?
Early midlife. We're 24.
Exactly.
Both of us. That's not early midlife.
Oh, it's not midlife.
That's quarter life.
Okay. Depends how long you live, I suppose. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, but so I don't know. It's a hard question. I'm more worried about like the actual building. I went for a coffee last weekend, and I didn't like the coffee. Okay, I'm sorry. It wasn't that good. And I had suspicions, but like we say, let's taste the coffee first and then we'll make a judgment, okay?
Okay, but what was the thing that you saw that
put me off about the coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, Grinder, I saw shots of espresso already pulled, waiting to be
Oh my
used.
god.
Coffee machine wasn't ideal.
Mind you, we were talking about the importance of coffee machines the last episode.
That is true. Oh, cancelled.
You're a bit biased in this sense, no?
Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
So you're saying you arrived with your little barista badge, being like, "Hey, specialty coffee barista,
Yeah.
show me what you got."
Well, I was in the neighborhood, okay? I stumbled upon this place. I didn't necessarily seek them out.
Okay.
But what caught me was, so it was on the corner of an intersection of roads, right? But the intersection had been closed. It was pedestrianized, rather. So there was like chairs. It's very common in Barcelona, right? That they closed down some places, and there's like chairs for people to sit down. There was some greenery and stuff. The sun was coming down. It was like early in the morning, so it was like amazing.
Perfect place for a coffee right now.
Really good. And the place had these huge windows that were like, they had no glass in them, so you would kind of sit in the window frame. And you're looking out onto this pedestrian square. And I was like, oh, amazing, really, really good. Really enjoyed it. I loved the place. And then I got the coffee and I was like, oh, this is not great. And then later I told someone about it. I was like, oh my God, you know this place? It's like near this area where you live. And he goes, oh, you know, that's a franchise. I was like,
that makes sense.
Suddenly the coffee made more sense to me. I was like, And also, I think I had asked the barista, I was like, oh, like what beans are we using? And she just had no idea. She was just like, I don't know, like
coffee.
Yeah, she kind of just tried to show me the bag, and it was like the bag had no distinguishable labels. So I was like, all right, no worries.
Cancel that.
Yeah,
cancel my order, please.
But what dragged me to the place was that I could sit in the kind of the frame of the window. The sun was coming in. It was really nice. It felt spacious. That was good. And so I would say, like, when you go to a coffee shop, as in you're looking for a place to open up your coffee shop, you should somehow incorporate some sort of essence of the place that you're already going to.
Okay. That brings up another topic in this article that said, mind your essence. And even in a bar or whatever hospitality business you're opening, it talked about the importance of differentiating and having your own essence, as you called it. So we're going to talk about a phenomenon that we've been seeing a lot here in Barcelona. There's specialty coffee places opening everywhere. Like every week you have at least one or two.
Honestly.
And for me, at least, the essence is a Pinterest mood board of specialty coffee. If you go ahead and search, and it's a bit like, I understand that my perspective on this is a bit hater, but for me, I feel that people aren't putting their own essence or idea when they're opening a place, but they're just going ahead and being like, okay, what's a specialty coffee vibe that I would put in this place, and just open it. So, I mean, what do you think is more important in the sense, attracting customers because the vibe, as you call it, in this cafeteria is specialty coffee because you saw big windows. In this case, you didn't see a good machine, but I'm saying like having good grinders, good coffee machine, or a well-known coffee machine, to use a particular term. What's the essence of the place? You're just like doing what people find attractive in the business.
Yes. The essence of the place needs to show some sort of originality, not that it was like, something that we've seen before. Because for me, here's a pet peeve for you. When I walk into a specialty coffee place and I see this combination of metal, like the silver metal, like not just any, like metal and wood, and like,
inox,
Yeah, it's like we've been here, we've done this. Someone else is doing this down the road. Get something else.
You feel like you're entering a deja vu, right? That's like I've had coffee here before.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh no, yeah, it's just the place around the corner that has inverted wood and metal, but it's the same.
Yeah. Like, of course, take the tropes, take what's going on, and then make it your own. And that's exciting. It's like, okay, I want to see how you're doing this thing differently. But when it doesn't feel like there's that anything different going on, it's a bit sad. It's a bit like disappointing. But okay, training a staff to make good coffee is one thing, but then how is the staff engaging with you? And it's like, that's also kind of the essence of the place. Like the people who is working there, are they inviting and you want to stay there?
Yeah.
Like when we talk about specialty coffee being a little bit on the outskirts of the city or something, are people given the opportunity to be such regulars?
True.
A busy schedule doesn't mean you can travel like an hour to get somewhere every day. I'd say for a lot of businesses, the locals, the regulars, are helping keep it up. But what about you? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's tough in the sense to be like, okay, I'm in the outskirts of a city, so most likely my regulars during the week are going to be some people, and during the weekend it's going to be other customers. But I feel that sometimes regulars too tend to help the essence as well.
Yes,
it helps so much.
You're right.
And it's like, yeah, of course, that people are here, the same people creating community, creating ambience. It's amazing. But also, I still feel that essence is something that you create or you set up, and then it gets picked up. So
you have to be consistent with it, right?
I wouldn't say consistent, more than you have to be real, because you cannot. Well, you can consistently keep up with that fake essence. If you're real, you don't have to keep up any charade. I call it like that. And if you're just doing or being you, truth bombs over here. I mean, but if you're just being you, I think that's gonna get picked up. But if you're trying to be someone else or another business or something you've seen online that works, I think it's gonna be tough, to handle that.
It's gonna be like, wow, okay, what I just, the truth there that you dropped on this is related to V60. Hear me out, okay? So that we were saying the V60 is highlighting all the delicateness of the coffee, like it's being really genuine to what the bean is itself. The coffee bean that's put through the espresso, like obviously you're going to get different flavors from different beans. Of course, I'm not saying no, but when you throw it with a lot of milk on top of it, how it usually is, when you're putting it like through the coffee machine, as we said, it's like giving it this huge body. It's always going to give this kind of result at the end, So you can kind of hide beans a little bit better.
Okay.
But with a V60,
you're faced with the truth. You either did it well or you didn't.
Yeah.
I like the analogy.
Okay.
That's true.
I can't remember the exact words you said, but it'll be the name of the podcast. Okay.
I won't find it.
I'll have to go back on that one. So yeah, so like being honest, and that's what we've been saying about like the location. Like be a little bit honest to the location where you were. Like if there was a lovely green wall, well, let it be a part of the aesthetic. Look, you see this like with brands now, right? So there's this one lady who comes to the cafe that I work all the time, and she builds brands.
Okay.
And she's like, are people just really setting up Instagram accounts and trying to do trends that they find? Or are they actively being honest and like sharing things that you think are good, and you're being creative in your own way and you're doing whatever it is?
Yeah.
That's going to be honest to your brand. And then every time someone sees you, they're going to recognize you for what's happening. And that's what we need in the coffee shops. So we need from the people who work in the coffee shops. It's like, okay, not everyone can be happy every day, but like the service is gonna be like this. And what we do in breaks, like you come and you sit down and we go to the table. It's not often in a coffee shop that you get that service.
Yeah, most likely it's like a fast-paced environment to use.
Go to the coffee shop
and be like, grab it, pay it, leave.
Yeah. Pay first, you get it later.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, yeah. So you can take a seat and that's essence.
It feels different. It feels like you're being taken care of, and it's not like you're a number for us. So pay it because we don't trust you. Grab it, leave.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, sit down, take your time. You're not in a rush to pick whatever you want. And when you're done,
the tip jar is right over there.
It's not a rush. It's not like, oh, we need to make as much money as possible and just like get out. We don't care about you.
Specialty coffee is a little more relaxed. I will say that. It's like you go in and you're going to order a V60. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
Take a seat.
I thought you were saying like the whole specialty coffee bubble, let's call it, is relaxed. And I've seen a lot of people that are like, hey, where's my V60? I've ordered it 2 minutes ago. And I'm like, it takes at least 4 minutes to make. So chill.
Yeah.
You cannot ask for a V60 and be like, hey, I'm in a rush.
Yeah.
Can you give me my V60? I ordered a minute and a half ago. And it's like, I'm still pouring.
Yeah, right.
Just chill.
Yeah. the floor. Let's go.
Okay, your worst experience with a client, the one that you can remember.
Love it.
Worst one.
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I have it, right? This was when I was working back in Starbucks again. They're a little bit money forward. That's where you pay and then you go. Collect your coffee, right? And this person, they wanted extra chocolate on their whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. It wasn't me. Someone was charging them the extra whatever it was to get the chocolate on top, right? And she was like, you're charging me for that? They were like, well, yeah, like we have to do that, right? And I was just knocking around, doing my little bits, and I kind of stood in. Then I was like, yeah, like it's an extra, you know, it says it on the board, whatever. We have to charge you for that. Ridiculous, blah 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 blah. I don't want it. Don't charge me for it. And we're like, grand. Boop, charge whatever what the rest of it was. And then her coffee is made. She's like, can you put chocolate on that? And we were like, I said this to her. I said, absolutely. Come on over here to the till now. I charge you for that. Just because out of spite, right? Like, if someone had been really nice and they charged me, I would like put the whole tub on. But I was like, no, like I have to go charge you for that. Like, we said this to you before. And she was like, but this is for my daughter. You really gonna tell me I'm not gonna have chocolate for my daughter? And I was like, what do you want me to say here? Like, we said it to you at the till before you paid. You knew what you were getting into here, love. No, you're not getting the chocolate. And people who think that they can just throw a strop, a literal like toddler meltdown, so they can get some free stuff. Ridiculous. We need to stop letting people get away with this, actually. So my baristas out there, they don't own you. Okay? Anyways, that was the worst experience I think I had with a customer.
Yeah.
You?
There's a couple that come in mind. I'd say that once I was doing coffee and it was this place that had meals. The meals that we did were like bagels and salads. That's it.
I love a bagel.
We didn't have a kitchen. We didn't have anything. It's just finger food and stuff like that. And this lady came and she was like, I want a fried fish. Yeah, I want a fried fish. And I want to be 60s. I was like,
what a combo.
Yeah. And I was like, did you read the menu? Like, we don't do fried fish. And she was like, okay, just the 2V60s. I did the V60s. I took them. And she was like, can you give me milk? I was like, okay. Yeah, like, you do you. She put the milk in the V60 herself. And then she started making a rant about that coffee is really bad. I'm like, yeah, I figured that. And I mean, like, but a very big rant, again, like a toddler. It's been like, I can't imagine that I paid €6 for a coffee and then you had to charge me €1 more for milk and the coffee tastes this bad. And I'm like, are there hidden cameras anywhere? I'm like, are they testing me right now? I was like, no, she just asked what she wanted. And yeah.
All right, you just said there, like, putting milk in. Is it a pet peeve for you when the people
filter coffee with milk?
No, I'm gonna say just put sugar in their coffee.
Oh, no, not really.
No?
I mean, everyone's open to whatever they want.
I think we have collective trauma when it comes to bad coffee, okay?
Yeah.
It's happened.
Yeah, true.
That people have had bad coffees, they're used to not maybe like a little bit sweeter coffees or whatever, and they're asking for sugar because you need to have sugar in bad coffee. 100%. Get it. So what I say to people when they ask for sugar, they're like, hey, can I get sugar? I'm like, yes, you can, but I recommend that you try it first. That's all I ask. Just please try it first.
I'm going to finish with this pet peeve that I have. People from Latin America know it a lot more, but people say good coffee should be bitter.
Yeah, you said that in the last episode, actually.
It's crazy. For me, it's like, that's my biggest pet peeve. I spend the whole morning dialing in, getting like the right point of acidity, then sweetness, then a little bit of bitterness, like to highlight maybe some chocolate, some wood flavor, something like that. And they're like, no, coffee should be, or if they drink like a really acidic coffee, that like the idea is for it to be acidic, you know, like to highlight that acidity. And they're like, no, this coffee it's bad because it should be sour, or not sour, but like it should be bitter. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Something to think about. If you have any pet peeves, please write to us. coffeenotionspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me, Coffee Otter BCN on Instagram.
You can follow me at petamcor, pet.am.cor.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for listening, and I guess we'll catch you in the next episode.
Yeah.
And the music starts. Gracias.